I will now welcome our presenter. Danielle Doucet is a research analyst. She's been with the Council since August 2022. Danielle analyzes and reports on our data about population health with a special focus on youth as well as mental health and addictions. Her analyses helps to inform citizens and policymakers about our key priorities. Danielle, you're up.
Hi everyone. I will start by sharing my screen. The objectives of this webinar is to provide an overview of the Student Wellness Survey, the key observations from our 2022-2023 survey results, and the tour of our website where you can explore the data. So what is the Student Wellness Survey? First of all, it aims to better understand and report on several aspects of students' wellness, so physical health, social and emotional development, experiences at school and in the community, and substance use for the high grades. And it helps inform decision makers at different levels, for example, at the school, district, community, and provincial levels. In terms of the methodology of the survey, our target population first is parents or guardians of students in grades K to 5 and also students in grades 4 to 12. So for this past cycle, our sample comprised 5,600 parents or guardians, which represents a participation rate of 12%, 13,500 students in grades 4 and 5, which represents a participation rate of 86%, and 44,900 students in grades 6 to 12, which represents a participation rate of 77%. The survey is conducted online each year in all of New Brunswick public schools. So the large sample size for students allows us to provide a representative results at the school, community, district, zone, sector, and provincial levels. So the survey results on our website are divided into 6 data tables as shown on the boxes on the screen. In the first row, the first table regroups the demographic indicators for students in grades 6 to 12, such as language, gender, and age. The second table is about social and emotional development for students in grades 6 to 12. We have indicators on social factors and mental health. The third table is about the physical health of students in grades 6 to 12, which comprises indicators about movement, rest, and eating. In the second row, the first table is about substance use for students in grades 6 to 12, so smoking, vaping, alcohol, and drugs. The second table regroups indicators about school and community, such as school connectedness and community engagement. And finally, the last table comprises all of the results for students in grades 4 and 5, since it's a smaller questionnaire. And you may have noticed that there's no table for parents' guardian results. And it's because for this cycle, the low response rate prevented us from publishing representative results. So as mentioned previously, this is a province-wide survey with a student sample size large enough to report on results by community. And decision makers can explore the variability of results to take into account students' reality at a local level. And over time, we've learned that students' behavior and health outcomes can depend on where they go to school, and results by demographic groups, such as students who identify as non-binary, provides an equity perspective on health. So with all of this data, we tried to identify a few findings that stood out. We thought that for this year, mental health and substance use were important topics. So we developed 4 key messages based on the results from the grades 6 to 12 survey. We'll explore them in more details in a minute. So now I'll go to our website to show you how to explore our results and the survey results. So our website is nbhc.ca. If you go to surveys, you can select Student Wellness and Education Survey. So we recently renamed the survey. We added education to take into account our partnership with the Department of Education. So if you're looking for information about the most recent survey, you can click on 2023 edition. But first, I just want to show you an overview of our main page for the survey with some of our recent publications, such as infographics. So this is an example of one of our infographics on mental health for the non-binary and 2S LGBTQIA+ youth. All right, so let's go to the most recent edition. Here you'll see an article which includes our key observations for this edition. We also have our publications, such as infographics, and our data tables. So our first key message is that youth's ability to adapt to challenges is going down, while the percentage of youth who struggle with their mental health is steadily rising. We then have more details and some visuals about how the percentage of youth with a high or moderate level of resilience or a high level of mental fitness decreased, and the percentage of youth who reported having symptoms of anxiety or depression increased. If you want to look more closely at the results, you can click on one of the hyperlinks, for example, the one on anxiety or depression. So this is the indicator page about students in grades 6 to 12 who report having symptoms of anxiety or depression. We first see the provincial result, which can be interpreted as 55.8% of students in grades 6 to 12 report having symptoms of anxiety or depression in 2022-2023. We can also see the trend over time. We see that the results have worsened over time, going from 39.5% in 2015-2016 to 55.8% in 2022-2023. So these results are available by health zones, by communities. We have 33 communities at the council, and also by school districts. We then have our second key message is that for youth who identify as non-binary and those with a 2S LGBTQIA+ status, compared to their peers, a smaller percentage have a high or moderate level of resilience or a high level of mental fitness, and they report worse mental health. Then we have a visual and more details about how the results vary according to students' gender identity or sexual orientation. If you want to know more about this data, I'll show you another way to access the results, and it's by going directly to the data table. So here you can click on the data table that says grades 6 to 12 social and emotional development. And as a side note, when you're on this data table, you can switch data tables directly from the title. For each data table, we have a list of indicators divided into categories and subcategories. If you want to look, for example, at resilience, you can click on this indicator and you will see more details. So on top of having our data organized according to geographic variability, we also have demographic variability. So for example, gender, women, men, and non-binary. So I'll walk you through our third key message, which is that social media use, an emerging risk factor for mental health, is increasing among youth. And in the visual, you can see more details about how much time per day youth spend on social media. You can also click on the hyperlink related to this data. And on the indicator page, you can see more details. And you can also look at the confidence intervals, which are important to look at when comparing two different data. You can also download the results for each indicator in terms of CSV or PDF format. And our last key message is that regular smoking among youth is going down, and regular vaping and cannabis use has remained relatively stable since 2021-2022. So the visuals show how substance use has changed or remained stable over time. And in the text, we talk about how the results differ according to where youth go to school. If you click on one of the hyperlinks, for example, the one on vaping, you can get more details like I showed you earlier. And I would also like to show you some of our new tools. So one of those is the charts, where you can see the differences between communities, health zones, or districts. So it's a nice visual. For example, we can see here that 9.3% of youth in the Dieppe and Memramcook community, um, in so youth in grades 6 to 12, they report vaping daily or occasionally, and it goes to 28.9% for youth in Hillsborough. Another one of our new tools is the maps. So this is a visual that you can see by community, health zones, or districts. Let's take the Anglophone school districts. We can see here that the results vary greatly. So we have 13.8% of students in grades 6 to 12 who report vaping daily or occasionally for the Anglophone East School District. And this goes to 21.9% in the Anglophone North School District. And if you want to know more about how the indicator was calculated or how to interpret it, you can click on the About tab, where you will get this information. So to summarize, our website allows you to look at the data indicator by indicator and look at the trends over time, geographic variability, and demographic variability. This is helpful when you're trying to better understand students' behaviors and health. So this is the end of my presentation. Thanks for listening.